Well, this is part 2 of my special appeal to the Executive Governor of Edo State, Governor Godwin OBASEKI, in continuation of my earlier elaborations of the contribution of Ogiamien towards the development of Benin Kingdom. Your Excellency, the contribution of Ogiamien to the development of Benin City is enormous. First and foremost, Benin was founded by Ogiamien Erebo and not Eweka I, because Eweka I lived in Ego. The only Oba of Benin who came close to Huidun to live in Ogbe was Obaewedo, and it was due to the enactment of the Ekiopara Treaty that Ogiamien gave him permission to build that palace at Ogbe. And because of the special rapport between the two families, from 1255 AD, Your Excellency, to 1979, Ogiamien had helped the Oba of Benin in several ways. And these are part of the contributions of Ogiamien towards the development of Benin City. First was the acceptance of the Ekiopara Treaty by Ogiamien Ode. Because what people must know is, as we continue to say that the Oba does not own Benin, because there is a federal law which says this, but we need to make people understand why the Oba does not actually own Benin. Oba Ewedo had a problem with Olianogile, Edohe, and the Ero over the use of Ada and Ebe during ceremonial activities. These people fell out with him. They were his supporters. So when Ewedo noticed that he was under threat, because already he was living in the Benin Kingdom, which the Ogiamien never approved. So Ogiamien was like, it was a big threat for the Ogiamien. The Benin Kingdom of the Oba of Benin was a rebel part of the empire. But of course, he did not fight them because he was satisfied with his own territory. Ewedo was the one who visited Ogiamien in his palace. Your Excellency, Governor Godwin OBASEKI, let nobody deceive you, because if Ewedo defeated Ogiamien, Ewedo wouldn't have gone to seek for a truce in the palace of the Ogiamien. The only fight that the Ogiamiens fought with the Oba's people was the fight between Erebo and Oromia. And Oromia lost. He lost, and that was how the name Benin came about, Ubin. Then what was the name of the kingdom? What was the Oba called before the word Ubini? This tells you that the Oba, because the Oba was not active until the days of Obaewedo. The Obas were not active. It was Obaewedo, after reaching truth with Ogiamien, he began to act. This is history, Your Excellency. And apart from that, the Ogiamien came to rescue. And let me conclude anyway. When Obaewedo visited Ogiamien and asked for a truce in the Ogiamien's palace, because part of the treaty, Ewedo must visit, the Oba must visit the Ogiamien. Akenzwa II did it. EREDIAUWA did it. Ogiamien had to ensure that in the treaty, the Oba was submissive. That's why in that treaty, Your Excellency, it is the Oba of Benin who would present a lot of gifts to the Ogiamien, starting from a royal stool before going to his palace in Ogbe. Uhure, you know what the meaning of Uhure? He would present 3 golden staffs to the Ogiamien, Ekwoki, and several other things before going to the palace. In return, what does the Ogiamien give for the Oba of Benin? The Ogiamien asked the Oba of Benin will open up his pan, and the Ogiamien will pick sand from the ground and say, "Ihio tona nwene, o we no we Oba obedogume domagume do ogume do noma we." There was a cost, Your Excellency. So this is for Kippa. So Ogiamien saved Obaewedo. Otherwise, Oliha, Edohen, and the Ero would have crushed him. The Oliha, Edohen, and the Ero family, they are there. This is one of the reasons, the major reasons why the Equipara Treaty was signed. Not because of the fight, because after the fight with Oromia left. Eweka the force was banned. Ereba was a king, he was a bishop. Eweka the first died in his grandfather's palace at Ego. The Eweka the second king went to live in Oselu. He died in Oselu. The third king died in Oselu. And the fourth one was Obaewedo. Ewedo, in order to have peace, came to the Ogiamien and asked for a truce. And that led to the enactment of the Equipara Treaty, Your Excellency. Now, having said this, another contribution that the Ogiamien rendered very much, that is still historical and we can all see it if we are interested, is the Isiemero family in Sapomero. Isiemero was a warrior to the Oba Benin. In fact, it's known as Asakan of Sogyomba. When Obaewedo had problems with him, because Isiemero is from the aboriginal Benin kingdom, where the Ogiamien is the king, Obaewedo pleaded with the Ogiamien to give a place to Isiemero to live in his territory. And Ogiamien, in order to lessen pressure on Obaewedo, gave that land to be known as Isiemero, Isiemero, to Isiemero. Your Excellency, Governor Obaseki, I want you to ask the Isiemero people how they got to that place. Because if the Oba owns there, the Oba should not come to the Ogiamien. The Ogiamien should not give them permission. The Oba gives an order, but the Isiemeros will tell you that it was the Ogiamien who gave them that land. Now, we'll say this. But let me tell you, Your Excellency, we should not forget the history. In China, Your Excellency, they are still researching on their history. In Europe, where I live, they are still researching on their history. They do not create confusion. Now, Your Excellency, another thing that will bring you more closer to reality is this. We all know that Benin City started its development in the Hindu, which is first the secular, second is the secular, and then third is secular. This was where Benin City started. The colonial masters. Before colonial time, after colonial time. So, what are we saying? Simple. Your Excellency, I want you to find that from the government archives, because the government agencies were initially built in the Ogiamien territory. I want you to find out government agencies that were built in these three axes. Who gave those lands, the permission for those lands to the Oba Benin? Your Excellency, I want you to find out from people who live in these three axes, who bought lands in the 40s and the 50s, to show you the document, who signed, the landlord, who signed. It was the Ogiamien. Your Excellency, the Ogiamien owns the whole land that we faces secular, second is secular, third is secular. The Ogiamien was the one who gave those lands out to people for development, to the government for agencies, not the Oba Benin. So how can the Oba Benin come to claim what he does not own? Your Excellency Obaseki, I want you to set up a commission, because the confusion we cannot underplay and we cannot underpin this very particular problem. I am not drawn to the confusion whether the Oba Benin is a Benin or is not a Benin. What I want to tell you that historically, and there is a federal law, Your Excellency, and your father knows this, your grandfather knows this, because you know it too, that there is only one man in Benin who is not subservient to the Oba Benin. That is the Ogiamien of Utantan Benin nation. Ata Eredo, Ogiamien Redo, Amioba Redo, Ogiamien do. This is what everybody sees. We want to be respected because our forefathers founded Benin. Thank you, Your Excellency.